What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Paige with Paige, and today we're going to be doing the Valentine's Day book tag. This book tag was originally created by Bookishly Michelle, and I'll leave a link to both their Twitter and their YouTube in the description box below. So essentially what this tag is taking each component of a Valentine's Day date, creating a prompt, and then obviously picking a book that goes along with that. And Michelle has created some of the most wholesome, beautiful prompts, and yeah, I'm so excited, so let's dive in. The first element is Crush, a beautiful book that features your favourite colour. So for me, The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna has that beautiful teal colour in it that I absolutely adore, and like even more on the back, and just oh, this cover itself is so stunning. I love seeing a decor and just stunning, absolutely stunning, and then yeah, with that teal, just so beautiful. I do have another book on this list that I was going to originally pick, and then I remembered that I got this one from April is Maximus for my birthday. I haven't hauled it yet, but yeah, I figured why not? Why not put this in? Let's do it. The next prompt is Asking Out, a book that intimidated you but you ended up loving. And I'm going to go with Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I wouldn't be surprised if this features in a lot. It is a really wonderful standalone epic fantasy that just has so many elements to it, and I adored it. I thought I was going to be bored by the end, or it wasn't going to conclude well enough, but no. It hit the nail on the head, and it was a fantastic read. But I was definitely intimidated by the size, like, this is a brick. Next up is Perfect Outfit, a book that lived up to all your expectations. And for me, this is kind of funny because the cover is so fucking ugly. But Ship of Magic, the book one in the Lamp-Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. So I wanted my expectations to be the same as at the end of the Assassin's Apprentice trilogy, and this hit all my expectations. I adored it. The characters are great. I love being back in the realm of the Elderlings. The new elements of Lightships was fantastic, and I adored it. I was so happy that it lived up to the previous trilogy, and I can't wait to continue on. Next is Picking Up Your Date, a book that you had to go the extra mile to get. So for me, I have quite a few books that have taken me a while to get my hands on them. Ironheart, I'm still waiting to come in, but I've never actually had to go that extra little mile. But one that I picked up, I could not find it in a Sydney bookstore to save my life. I could have easily had ordered it in, but I just wasn't sure about it. So technically this counts because I picked it up when I was in Cambodia in a bookstore, so I could physically see it, look through it, and, you know, make my decision from there. And that is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. So I ended up getting this at Monument Books in Cambodia, and yeah, so I could have easily have got this whenever I wanted, but I was in Cambodia, so I went that extra mile, and then found a copy of it physically. So yeah, adored this book, absolutely fantastic, love it with my whole heart and soul. Next up is At the Movies, a genre you can always read for comfort, and mine is going to be middle grade fantasy. So it doesn't have to be polar fantasy, just any fantasy will do me, but I adored Frostheart by Jamie Littler. Having the illustrations in it just adds that extra element to it. Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin sent me this for my birthday, not this year but last year, and I love it. I love everything about it. It's just so gorgeous, so wholesome, so wonderful, and I feel that middle grade has that perfect level of comfort, and fantasy just gets you in that sort of a groove. It's a little bit more adventure than a contemporary, and just yeah, I adore middle grade fantasy. Next up is Grabbing a Quick Dinner, a book that was the perfect palate cleanser, and I'm going with Gigarella by Ashley Poston. So all the books in this series have been the perfect palate cleanser because they're just fun. They're light, they're fluffy, they're sweet. So it's based off a Starfield convention, and every year that's sort of where it's based around. It's just so much fun. It's so light, and yeah, when you read a lot of fantasy or read a lot of hard-hitting contemporaries, having a sweet fluffy read is perfect. Next up is Driving and Listening to Music. Recommend a book based off your favorite song. Do you know how hard this is? So one, I don't really have favorite songs. I have albums that I'll listen to on repeat by a whole range of things. I'll constantly go back to different single songs by an artist. I'm just all over the place with my music. So I went to my top 25 played on my iPhone, and that was Wait For It from the Hamilton soundtrack. So I was listening to the lyrics and I was looking at my bookshelves and I was like, okay, and Cry As War by Nina Varela. So there's talk of civil war, so her husband's away but he wants to be with her, so there's not that element in here, but forbidden love sort of is. Love doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. Like, yes, if there's a reason that I'm by her side, I'm willing to wait for it. So waiting for it, like, just, yes! So yeah, waiting for them to just do what they need to do, like, yes. So having dominant parents and trying to live up to a legacy. But yeah, so essentially, like, this just summed everything up that I was thinking of when it came to that song. I did also briefly think of This Is How You Lose a Time War with Wait For It, with the way that their time travel works, but I just couldn't not go with this. So yeah, fucking yes. Next up is First Deep Talk, a fictional character you're really related to, and recently that was Rosie from Bookish and the Beast, which is the third in the Once Upon a Con series based from the Geekerella. So for me, Rosie is me. She loves being comfortable, she loves reading, she loves her sneakers, she wears glasses, although sometimes we'll use contacts, whereas with me, I just wear my glasses all the time. She's clumsy, she fell in love briefly with the villain, and I just love it. Like, I just felt that Rosie was like the perfect sum up of everything that my awkward self was as well. So yeah, really related to her. Next up is Rain, a book you thought would be a favorite but ended up disappointing you. And I haven't talked about this yet, but it will be featured in my February wrap-up, and that's The Furies by Katie Lowe. Obsession, witchcraft, murder. So, like, I thought I was going to adore this. Dark academia, it's all like, all the elements I should have loved that just fell flat. I found that I was very disconnected from the characters. I still really enjoyed this. Like, this is a 3.5 star read, but I thought it was going to be a favorite, so it's disappointed me in that way. I'm still glad that I read it and I enjoyed it, but yeah, I was just not connected to the characters. I thought they were a little bit pretentious and just not in a way that was really well done. Whereas like with If We Were Villains, they were pretentious in a horrible, horrible way, but it worked. Whereas this, they were just like the ragtag group. Next up is First Kissed, a standalone you think should be a sequel, and I'm going with The House in the Cerulean Sea. So this was also Crush, a beautiful cover that has the teal elements in it. But I think this definitely fits for... The story itself wouldn't work as a series, but I just want to spend more time with the characters. I want to see them after the end. Like, I want to know how everything goes, how it develops, and it doesn't have to be like a story. It just watching them do their things, and if the characters become and follow their dreams, and what happens with Lucy, and there's just so many different elements to it that could really work. But I'm happy that it's a standalone. In my heart, I want the series because of the characters, not necessarily for the plot, but I'm happy that it isn't a series. So yeah, that's what I'm going with for that one. And finally, the last one is Goodnight Text, the last book that kept you up long past your bedtime. And I'm not really sure because I will just read till whenever because I feel like it. But the last one that really had me going, I need to know what happens next, is I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. I've lent it to my mum to read because I think she will really enjoy it, but it definitely had me on the edge of my seat. Like, I couldn't go to sleep because I needed to know what happened next, rather than I just want to keep going because I can. So yeah, definitely love the elements to this. It was glorious, and yeah, just overall like fantastic sort of psychological thriller sort of thing. And yeah, so these are just some of my choices for the Valentine's date book tank. Let me know in the comments what would be your crush beautiful cover that has your favorite color in it. Yeah, let me know, because I think that's a really interesting one. And yeah, I'd be curious to hear what colors you guys like, as well as what books you think are beautiful. If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe. And I'll hope to see you in my next video. Bye!